What's going on, family and friends? This is your boy, John the Date Dr. Clark, and it's something I want to get off my chest to the lovebirds, to those that are in a relationship, to those that are married, to those that are in situationships. Um, there's a reason that we're failing, um, not necessarily as people, but I think there's a reason that we're failing more so as in getting to the promised land, getting to the marriage state, getting outside of the engagement phase, moving past the courting phase, becoming and returning it to like a relationship phase. There's a reason that we're starting to be unsuccessful as it relates towards love. And of course, I apologize in advance for using the term failing, but it's one way to get your attention. So I guess my question now is, why is it that we're failing? I feel as though that I have the answer. So let's kind of compare it to a typical education. You're in class, you're in a typical 6 to 9 week course. And of course, the teacher's kind of going over the syllabus. She's going over everything that you need to have. I'm going to say it again just in case you missed it. The teacher's now going over the syllabus, which means they're going to let you know everything that you need to have in your possession. Everything that's going to help increase the chance of you being successful in your course, in your 6 to 9 week course. So as I compare it towards the reason as to why we're failing, the reason as to why we're not as successful, sometimes we don't have that right teacher. Sometimes we don't have that right professor. Sometimes we don't have those right people that are in our circle, that are in our faith, that are in our space, that are in our face, that are in our mind, that are in our spirit, that are in our soul, that are designed to educate, that are designed to guide us. Sometimes we don't have those right people that are in our corner that can kind of guide us into the right category, that can kind of show us how to date, how to fall in love with a person, how to cater to a woman, how to treat the correct woman, how to know if this is a good guy or a bad guy, how to cater and or pamper towards our guys, how to pamper and cater towards our women. So that's strike one. Strike one is that we don't have the right kind of people in place. And the next thing, imagine being in that same classroom setting and the teacher has now passed out the syllabus. So now the thing is, what's the teacher's next going to do? Her next move is, or his next move is, to tell us what it is that we need to have. And our job and our duty and our obligation right now is to go out and invest our energy, our financial structure, and getting these materials so we can be receptive of it. So I compare it now to our relationships. I compare it now to our marriages. Those wise people that we have in our corner, or those unwise people that we're having in our corner, are we really listening to them? Are we learning? Are we applying that necessary scholarship to take heed of what it is that this wise person is saying? Or are we taking the necessary scholarship to listen to those unwise people? Society, from what it looks like right now, we've embedded a lot of energy into those that don't have the best interest in us. And when we have those that do not have the best interest in us, we take on those uninterested people, or we take on those interested people within our mind frame. So I've kind of gone over the necessarily two clauses as to why we're failing, as to why we're having very unsuccessful relationships, because we don't have the right people in our corner. We don't have that necessary foundation. We don't necessarily know the ways and are applying the ways that these people are more so educating us on. Sometimes we apply those bad quotes. Sometimes we apply some of those bad people that are not as receptive of what it is that we're believing in. Those are our main two things. So the third thing, what is our teacher gonna do now? The teacher's gonna show us these examples. The teacher's gonna show us the slideshows. They're gonna show us these things that are gonna happen in life. They're gonna show us how to resolve these issues. They're gonna show us about the what ifs, the do's and the don'ts and the wills and the wants. The teacher's gonna show us everything that's gonna help us to be successful. But guess what the first test is gonna be? Guess what that first level of seeing if you're paying attention is gonna be? It's gonna be the issue. Or within the educational system, it's going to be the quiz. So you approach class on Wednesday morning, and now the teacher hits you with the first quiz. The real question now is, have you paid attention to the syllabus? Have you paid attention to that wise man or that wise woman that's designed to educate you? Have you developed that scholarship? Now in the second phase, have you developed the scholarship and with the ability to learn and apply, the ability to listen what it is that the teacher was trying to expose you to, the ability to listen and to be willful, and to be humble, and actually reading the syllabus and paying attention to that wise man or that wise woman? Have you went out, like we stated before, and went out and invested into those materials that your professor, that your teacher has strongly encouraged you to go out and get? And if you've established that foundation, if you've gone out and invested and purchased those things that your teacher or that wise man or that wise woman has really tried their best to instill in you, then the first issue, The first quiz should not be a joke. But have you taken it as a joke? Did you refuse to go out and get those materials? Did you refuse to kind of have those positive, those profound people within your corner that can provide you nothing but uplifting things and motivational things? Have you neglected those things? Or have you taken heed of those things? The issue, the quiz will show. And if you've decided to neglect it, guess what's going to happen on that quiz? You're going to fail. Guess what's going to happen on that quiz? You're going to be very unsuccessful. Guess what's going to happen on the quiz? You're going to fail to go to the class. Guess what's going to happen on the field, ladies and gentlemen? Your confidence is going to be low. And guess what happens when our confidence is low? It stays low. Guess what happens when it gets even more lower? We start making excuses. Guess what happens when we start making excuses? We start becoming that no call, no show. Guess when we start doing the no call, no show? We quit. We step outside of our comfort zone. We step outside of the classroom. We now have to repeat the class. We now have to go to tutoring. And ladies and gentlemen, why go to tutoring if you don't have that initial foundation? Why go to tutoring if you're not ready and willing to apply what it is that you should have been taught? Why go to tutoring if you're not ready to face that first issue? Ladies and gentlemen, do you hear what it is that I'm saying? Do you hear what it is that I'm saying? These are the reasons as to why we're failing. These are the reasons as to why we're struggling to have a very successful relationship. These are some of the issues as to why it's causing us to have difficulty and get into the promised land. These are some of the issues as to why it's hard for us to move past the engagement phase. These are some of the issues as to why it's hard for us to repeat after the preacher. Ladies and gentlemen, these are some of the reasons as to why we're as unsuccessful in our relationships. These are some of those reasons. We don't have that initial foundation. We don't have someone that's positive that we can call on. We're not taking advantage of the scholarship. We're not taking advantage of the ability to learn and apply. And last but definitely not least, we're not ready and or prepared for the quiz or the issue. Ladies and gentlemen, my suggestion, my advice, find something that's your primary support. Find something that's your initial foundation. Find something you need to stand on. That's the first thing. That's the syllabus. That's what the teacher is telling you. That's what's going to help you be successful in your life situations, in your relationship, in your coupleship, in your situationship, in your marriageship. Pay attention to the syllabus. I know my syllabus. I know my professor. I know my teacher is a man in the sky. He's my ultimate foundation. He's the reason as to why my house and why my home has yet to tumble or to crumble. That's the difference. The next thing, as I'm speaking to this teacher, as I'm speaking to this provider, I'm asking him to provide me a very successful syllabus. I'm asking him to provide me a simple yet plain syllabus. That way I can learn. That way I can understand. That way I have the ability to learn and apply. Second phase, ladies and gentlemen. But last but definitely not least, I ask that he provides that foundation and that syllabus that can increase the chance of me learning and applying, and the ability to face that first issue where I ace the quiz, because I know what's going to happen ultimately. It's going to increase the chance of me passing the test, getting to the promised land, being able, being willing, being capable to repeat after the preacher. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy John the Date Dr. Clark, and I love what it is that I do, and I hope and pray that this video touches your soul, your heart, and your soul, and your mission, and your purpose. Feel free to share it. Feel free to look me up on my website, www.datedoctor.com. Please follow me, and I'm out.